I've got a theory.
Oh, here we go.
An unqualified,
I love a Ghazi theory.
an unqualified amateur theory.
Okay.
That's my disclaimer. So don't actually take it on board if you think it's wrong.
You watch the comment box now.
You're listening to the Big Drill.
Welcome to the Big Drill.
Hello everyone. Welcome to the Big Drill. We have our wonderful co-host
Will.
and Ghazi on the show. I don't know why why did you take so long to answer?
Forgot my name, mate.
Today is the 11th of October 2019, which means yesterday was...
Mental Health Awareness Day.
And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to link it in with fitness as well. And I'm going to kickstart it off straight away by asking you, Will, have you ever suffered from a mental health issue?
Yeah, I'd say I have.
Are you going to leave it at that?
No, I will actually divulge some more information. So I think there's a lot of things that happen in society that, of course, make it difficult for someone's mental health to stay on its optimal level. And unfortunately, some of those things would be death around family members or issues, troubles in relationships. So for me personally, my mum died,
Okay.
which was the 8th of March 2016, and it was quite a long, drawn out death. It was Alzheimer's, and it was a big part of 12 years of my life that was emotionally difficult, and you kind of react and you behave in a certain way in which compartmentalizes things that you can't quite process at that given time, for whatever reasons. So I went through a distinctive period of time where I was struggling with my mental health. I felt quite depressed at times, frustrated, angry, confused, a lot of different elements of negative thoughts that
All the thoughts you don't really want to be going through your head.
Of course you don't want them to be going through your head. The reality of life is that you can't go through a life and live as a human being without some of those thoughts actually coming into play, So I mean, it would be like you don't walk through an orchard of apples and a field of daisies every day of your life.
Yeah.
It's not life.
Sometimes you got to walk through nests of wasps.
Nests of wasps. Sometimes you got to trudge through some cow shit.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah, and get stuck in it sometimes.
Sometimes. So realistically, the kind of mental health, it wavers. I mean, I've actually used an analogy in a post on my Instagram of how a mental health is as an individual to a person as their fingerprint, except fingerprints are pretty much static in their sense that they don't change unless you're a criminal and you get them burnt off for whatever reasons. But with regards to your mental health and it being a fingerprint at any given time, but it can actually change. So it's a dynamic.
I like that.
It's a dynamic concept. It's as an individual part of someone as their own fingerprint, but that fingerprint at any one moment can change because of the environment we're in, and then how that kind of affects us emotionally, and how that can be a destabilising factor. So yeah, I have had times in my life where I've had trouble with kind of my mental health, and I have support through friends, through family. I also have support with counselling as well. So I have someone that I go to, I sit in a room which is a very safe environment, and I get support emotionally in a very objective fashion. There's no bias involved in the thoughts or feelings of the counsellor. It's a very exploratory objective approach, so that can be hugely beneficial for people. So I think it can kind of get them to see and explore in a non-judged way, and kind of actually get to grips with certain things and say certain things, and it can be very emotionally cathartic in order to be able to re-equalize those thoughts and feelings, and kind of like process them accordingly.
So was that the thing? Was the counselling one of the big factors of you getting to a better headspace?
Yeah, absolutely. Counselling was, and I think that there is this kind of connotation that you go to see a counsellor if you're sick, or if you're not well, but that, I don't think that holds any kind of water at all, because actually the act of going to see a counsellor or engaging in counsel with another person is essentially, could be as simple as asking a mate for some advice, right?
True. Yeah.
That is counsel,
By definition.
Yes. What do you think of this? You're asking for someone's counsel. You're sitting down and spending time. So I don't think in any way, shape or form that someone needs to be sick or even have particularly poor state of mental health. I think you can have a relatively good state of mental health, but you want to just go for a different perspective, or an unbiased perspective, or a non-validated, you're not going there for validation, you're going there for honesty and authenticity. And I think you definitely get that from a good counsellor. So yeah, definitely. You should get that from good friendships as well, right? And
well, ideally, yeah. That's what I was going to talk about next, is what are the signs? How do you figure it out? Because a lot of the times people kind of keep it to themselves, and I've been in situations where it's been under my nose and I had no idea until it was too late, basically. So how does one pick up the warning signs that someone is going through some shit?
I mean, I think I used this analogy in the last podcast that we spoke about with shaming, and you look at someone and you see the tip of an iceberg. You stand in front of someone. Like, I'm looking at you now, and I see you as and on a superficial level, I see how you're looking today. But beneath the surface of the water, the rest of the iceberg is what you're thinking and how you're feeling. And I don't, I've got to dive into the ocean and speak more, converse with you more.
Deep.
I've got to drill deep into it.
Yeah, continue.
And kind of like find out. You can't. How many people walk past and go, "Oh, all right, mate, how you doing today? Yeah, I'm doing well, brilliant. Okay, yeah, nice one, mate. Yeah, see you later, bye." Like in passing. I do it all the time in the gym, if I'm being honest. But like
all the time, yeah.
Sometimes go, stop, look at that person, go, no. Ask a second time, no. How are you doing today? I'm not asking, oh, how you doing? I'm asking you, how are you really doing?
Yeah.
And if you know that person, obviously you need a certain amount of rapport to build on an actual truthful, authentic answer, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the only way you'll ever find out if someone is suffering from poor mental health or troubled by thoughts and feelings, negative emotions, is if you actually give a shit about them.
Yeah.
That is the only way you'll find out. If you truly give a shit about them.
Or if it's your job.
Or if it's your job.
Just say it.
Grease my palm and I will give a shit about you.
Exactly.
No. So that's really how and the signs are very rarely obvious until, to your point, it's too late. So I mean, do you want to go into a little bit more?
Oh, do you want to take a trip down memory lane, Will?
Let's take a trip down memory lane.
So there was someone I knew many years ago, and we kind of lost touch, so we whatever, and then we reconnected, and then at that point I was now a personal trainer. So she asked, oh, let's train together sometime. I said, yeah, sure. So we started training and stuff, and bear in mind I hadn't really seen her for a couple of years, maybe.
Sure.
And this person would start saying things that didn't quite add up, but I just wasn't putting I wasn't putting the numbers together. I was just kind of thinking maybe it's because I haven't seen her in a while. She's changed. Whatever. This is just how she is now. And she just started. And every time we had met up, it was only like the third time by now that we'd met up to train. Just things that now that when I think back, I go, maybe I should have picked up on that.
Right.
The one that sticks to me the most is, I can't remember how the conversation came up, but we were talking about Earth and space or whatever, and you
love those chats,
as you do. And we were talking about people who believe in flat Earth. Have you heard of those? Don't do that face. Come on, man. We're gonna have one of those. We're gonna have one on our show one day.
We are not having a flat Earth.
Drill deep.
Are we having a flat Earth on the show?
Why not? We've got to find out. But she wasn't saying I believe in flat Earth. This is where I was like, she was saying I believe that Earth goes from flat to round, back to flat. I went,
whoa,
that's a bit strange.
Okay.
But the understanding person I am and the open-mindedness, I tried to understand but it just didn't make sense.
Right.
And that was the only one that sticks out to me. There was loads where it seemed like reality wasn't being grasped properly.
Yeah.
And then I can't remember what happens. I'm going to work one day. This is maybe a few weeks later. So I thought nothing of it. We trained. Goodbye. Whatever. A few weeks goes by. I'm heading to Pure Gym, as you do, and I see her. She's walking towards me. And as you do when you see someone you know, hi.
Yeah.
That you kind of give them that little awkward.
Well, if I see someone I know, it's not normally awkward.
As in, you do the little wave.
Yeah.
Didn't even that wave. See, that was awkward.
So you do the wave, yeah,
and completely ignores me. I thought, okay, maybe she just didn't see me. So we're still walking towards each other. Then I start to realize something's wrong. She's got her earphones in. She's singing out loud. Really loud. And I'm kind of standing, waiting for her to kind of maybe take her earphones out, say hi, just enjoying my song. No. She walks straight past me.
Okay.
And then that's when I notice her clothes aren't on properly.
Okay.
And there's me going, what the fuck just happened? And work is right there. I'm like at the entrance of Pure Gym. I can just walk in and pretend I didn't see anything. I go, no, I can't do that. So I follow her, which sounds really bad. But I do.
In a non-creepy way.
In a non-creepy way.
Concerned.
And you know, it's always weird because when you try to not be... So as I'm creeping up on her in a non-creepy way, it's now become creepy.
Yeah, you didn't do yourselves any favours there.
No, exactly. So now imagine how everyone else is...
watching you do this.
Exactly. And I didn't want to touch her. So I kind of like leant to her side. And I said, hello. And then she ignores me. She pretends I'm not there.
Okay.
And then she takes a 180 turn and starts walking back to where she came from. And then I was sat there in the middle of the road, not the pavement. I went, okay, this is weird. Something's wrong. But I still had that conscious feeling of I can't just leave her.
Yeah, it's a like if you know someone's having a really shit day, which is what she sounded like.
And it was probably not even, something was wrong.
Yeah.
And again, in a non-creepy way,
Followed her again.
I follow her again.
I've got pictures of the Benny Hill show.
So now we've walked beyond Pure Gym.
Yeah.
I'm kind of gauging what am I supposed to do in this situation. And then I just said, I'm just going to just say, are you okay? And then she started screaming at me, telling me to leave her alone. And I went, shit, this is going to look really bad in front of everyone else.
Yeah.
And I said, listen, I just want to make sure you're okay. She said, I'm fine, leave me alone. And she started walking back to her original route. And I at that point, I was like, I mean...
So obviously, I feel a bit concerned. So what was the situation here? Have you spoken to her since? Is she...
So since then, she did message me later,
Yeah.
and she said, I'm sorry for the way I acted towards you. I'm a lot better now."
Right.
And so that moment has stuck with me. And all I could, at a certain point in time, all I was thinking about was, how could I have dealt with that situation better? That particular situation I've just described. The conclusion I came to was, I should have seen the signs before it got to that stage. Because in that moment of time, I'm not qualified. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I'm not like a close family member.
Yeah. I mean, firstly, I personally would say, like, everyone kind of like makes the best decision or goes with what they think they should do in any one moment, given all the information that they've absorbed and processed, right? So yeah, hindsight, you can say I should have done that, but at that time, you were like, it was just, you were reading into it however you read into it.
Yeah.
Would you read into those things differently now? Possibly. And that's fine, because you've kind of evolved a bit and learnt a bit, and like that situation has provided you with a different perspective. So thankfully, she was okay, and obviously,
She was in the
and you
end,
were on.
thankfully.
I mean, I guess, like, in essence, we see people of different variants of mental health in the fitness industry.
Yeah.
Obviously, I mean, today we're about mental health and fitness. So I mean, thank you for sharing that, and as well, I'm sure that it's kind of a bit of a, just to link it in with mental health. It's everywhere, not just in the fitness industry,
Yes.
obviously. But our position within the fitness industry puts us in a certain perspective, which allows us to see people with different mental health, different kind of mental health positions in our environment that we spend every day in, right? Yeah. And I know that I've used fitness to really kind of like help me, if I'm having, or I'm angry, or I'm annoyed, or I'm having a shit day, or something's happened and it's kind of like unbalanced me a little bit. I definitely am one of those people that benefits from having a training session, and from a mental health perspective, it's something which hugely helps me.
Yeah.
If I need to blow off a bit of steam, or I just need to move, because moving feels good, and it's something that I like to do, and if I actually hurt my back last Wednesday, and I've been limited in the amount of exercise I can do, and it's kind of like a bit annoying. It doesn't send me I'm not depressed about it, but I am aware of it, and it's just like that kind of like, yeah, I'm a bit annoyed about that. It's fine. I know I'll be okay. I'll be training again next week, for example. Mm-hmm. But I think it just highlights the importance that some people actually have aligned with using the gym or exercise or being in that environment, and for a multitude of different reasons.
So, in my experience, fitness has been like the number one helpful thing for people who are suffering, I guess, from mental health issues.
Yeah.
That might be biased because that's where I work, so I'm always around those type of people. But even when I look outside of that, for example, Tyson Fury,
yeah,
Gypsy King.
Here we go. Tyson Fury.
He actually released a video. It's about a minute and a half long yesterday.
If Tyson's watching this, hi Tyson.
Shout out Gypsy King. You'll become the undisputed soon, I'm sure. And he, to help for mental health, he posted a little video and he was talking about his journey. So he became, for anyone who doesn't know who he is, he's a heavyweight boxer. He became the heavyweight champion of the world after he defeated Klitschko. And soon after, things started spiraling out of control very quickly. He blew up to 28 stone. How much is that in kilos?
I don't know, but do we need to convert that to kilos? It's a lot.
It's a lot. Yeah. He blew up. I mean, he's 6'9", but
Yeah, but
Even
okay.
even then, 28 stone.
He's carrying a lot. He's carrying quite a fair amount on his frame anyway. That amount. So yeah, okay, 28 stone.
He was suffering from depression, and he was on the verge of committing suicide. So it got really bad. So a man who had the fame, the glory, the money, he had everything he supposedly needed, yet was still suffering from this. And now 2 years later, he's back into the boxing scene. He's lost all the weight, and he's on his way to trying to become the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. And he said his medicine was gym. He just got back into the gym, and he now no longer suffers from any of the things he used to suffer from. So the gym literally saved his life.
Yeah, I mean, and like I've had you know when someone walks into a gym, or and this is back in when I started. I can remember there was a couple of clients that or members of the gym that used the gym, and they used to come in. They used to have their head down. They used to be very rushed, very like avoiding eye contact, kind of like get in, do the workout, and leave. And I don't know what it is, but I kind of like noticed that about them, and I just wanted to talk to them. And then talking to them, and actually they paired up with a couple of personal trainers that I'd working for me at the time, and their transformations, like 6 months later, a year later, they'd walk into the gym, they'd put their card on the time, they'd like say hi to all the receptionists, they'd hang around for a coffee after their workout. They'd be in a situation where their mental health had clearly gone on a journey. This is someone who used to not say, used to like kind of like go in and
not even make eye contact.
No eye contact. But not when he put the card on the, and that from a psychological point of view, like the constructs of psychology, self-esteem, confidence, self-efficacy, all these things that kind of like shape a person's moment in life where they're in that kind of environment. They were able to be in a much more positive and much more integrated way. Now, that's not saying that someone wants to walk in, do their workout and go, and they don't want to speak to anyone. I'm not saying that means they're in poor mental health, but if they want to kind of like integrate more into society and they don't have the confidence to do that, or they don't know the pathways and the channels that they can, fitness is a great way to bring people into a community, bring people into a sense of belonging, to meet friends, meet people in similar goals and similar interests, and have those connections. And it is really, really important how an environment, if placed and in the right way and kind of set up in the right way, can be hugely beneficial rather to people's mental health. Absolutely, And he even used to come out on nights out with the gym in the end. He was an absolute tearaway.
Good on him.
He has to go, hang on a minute, mate, calm down. No more shots. I've got work on Monday morning. It's Saturday at 4 o'clock. What?
It built up. He had to release it.
Yeah, he was making up for lost time. But no, I mean, in all fairness, it is one of those situations where, fitness and being involved in fitness can totally turn someone around if they want to be, they want to make that move and they want to. Then it's a great facilitator of that. Completely agree, love it. Good old Tyson Fury as well.
Good old Tyson Fury.
We'll have to do a live podcast whilst we watch his next fight
against Deontay Wilder. Yes, we will do that. That will actually be very exciting.
Get TV up here. Can watch it.
Their first fight ended up in a draw, a controversial draw. Everyone thinks Tyson Fury won.
Okay.
But boxing's corrupt. And
boxing,
whatever. Okay, fine. So, we know fitness has the ability to heal.
Heal, yes.
Mental health issues.
Oh, heal is a...
help, support?
Yeah, help, support. Heal is a big word because...
Okay, well, it healed Tyson Fury. I think he would say that.
I think that... I mean, I don't disagree with what you said, obviously, but I think the word heal is a very, very, recovery, yes, but heal would say like almost, it heals, but there's still scars. I know that think certain ways. I have certain like feelings where I feel overwhelmed, but my like ability to cope with them now is a lot better.
Yeah.
And I can move on from them. I can let them feelings be and then move on. I also know like people which have had some kind of mental health struggles and have overcome them, but the brain never forgets. The brain will always remember those those synaptic impulses that fired through the head once happened. They might not be happening right now, and they might be like kind of in check.
Would you want to forget that?
Well, no, because I think that's part of being human, right? So it's about. I don't think it's about healing up. I think it's about recovering and coping effectively and moving on with it not being a taboo subject, and it being fine for that was part of your life and that happened and that's how you felt, but now you don't feel like that. It's never linear as well. Things like mental health, like Tyson Fury, for example, fantastic that he's done so well, but for me it's like, well, could he go back and slip back into those? Well, yeah, he could, because I'm not saying that he will in any way, shape or form, but
I hope not.
It's not linear. Relapses are common. Behaviour change, emotional change, relapses do happen, but it's it's great. So sorry, carry on what you're saying.
Okay, we won't use the word
absolutely
heal.
Hijacked your word heal.
We'll go on another 5-minute rant. Not heal, but help recover and support. Does it also have the power to do the exact opposite of, I'm not going to say destroy, because then you might say that's too powerful of a word.
Destroy.
But make someone create mental health issues?
Yeah, I guess so.
I would say yes too.
You'd say yes as well.
Yeah.
So we agree about that.
You act like we never agree on anything.
No, we do. Fair. We do agree on a lot of things. To the same story where someone creates a journey of exploration, flourishment, opening up a life and engaging in relationships, building self-esteem, confidence, realigning to good role models that provide positive direction and behaviours, absolutely fine. But then that same person going on that same journey might enter a bit of a darker place. There is a darker side of fitness, and that can also be aligned with mental health struggles within the fitness industry. So to every yin there's a yang. You can't really say, well,
fitness is the answer.
Is the answer. Fitness is a fantastic tool and a great facilitator of positive mental health. Chemically speaking, it releases endorphins, serotonin levels go up. Also then, as we spoke about, the psychological constructs, but that also can, depending on the steps you take and your overall mental health, can become a facilitator of going down the rabbit hole. Let's say going down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, because like with anything, there's, like you said, so many positives towards the fitness industry, but there's little traps. Sometimes you might have
traps.
You got to dodge little
traps.
Mines. You don't want to set off the mines as you go. And one of the ones that come to mind is, and this quite happened to me quite recently, is counting my calories. It can become very obsessive and almost unhealthy.
Yeah, I know that you've done a fantastic job, by the way, with your how you were
Are you trying to make me blush? Is that what you're trying to?
No,
okay.
I wouldn't say that if I was trying to make you blush, Ghazi. But if we were considering how you done a fantastic job.
Thank
and
you.
Watching you and seeing how you progress was fantastic. I knew you were counting calories. Obviously, we spoke about that a couple of times. I also knew that
I looked like a zombie.
Yeah, sometimes. But for me as well, when I went down and a couple of while back now, and I went down and done my photo shoot, I was also counting calories and restricted and timing the calories I was taking. And I'm interested. Post shoot, post your obviously goal day that you would set yourself.
The deadline.
Yeah, I gave myself about 2 or 3 weeks of just kind of making sure I wasn't going way over calories, just so I was kind of refeeding, getting my energy back, coming back into training a little bit heavier, so on and so forth. But 3 months later, my thumb on my phone rather, is still like, instead of me opening WhatsApp, it's going straight to MyFitnessPal, because I've just wired in a behaviour, and actually coming away from that and being in a position where I was no longer counting and inputting calories into MyFitnessPal was a bit of an anxious road.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
There was a moment where a lovely member, she made these protein balls, and I was counting my calories, and I had no space. According to the app, there was no space left for this protein ball.
MyFitnessPal says,
I'm done for the day. Sorry, it was quite late at night. And so she gave it to me. I said, thank you. And I took it, even though I didn't want to take it, but I didn't want to be rude about it. And
you took it like a man.
And it was, and it was just a protein ball. It wasn't going to make any difference whatsoever, really. Yet, in my mind, if I eat this, I have destroyed the months and months of hard work I've been putting into this.
Sure.
So do you know what I did? I left it in my bag, and I waited till the next day, and I made it fit.
Question.
Yeah.
Was this protein ball in some sort of wrapped clean film? You didn't just drop it in the bottom of your bag, did you?
No.
With all the bits, all the pencil sharpenings and like bits of dust. Because I wouldn't have eaten that the next day.
It was fine to eat. It was covered.
Oh, that's fine then.
Yeah, it was completely fine. But I made sure. So this is how absurd it was. It was okay in my head to go, I'm not gonna eat it now because I can't. I'm gonna eat it tomorrow.
Yeah.
That is the power it can have on you.
And that does, and the rigidity and the restrictive eating patterns. Well, that is essentially is like a disordered eating pattern, right?
Yeah.
But that's
100%.
I mean, the book that and the academy that I teach on has signs and symptoms of eating disorders and disordered eating in one of the units that I deliver and chapters of the book that I've written. And one of those things, that is exactly what you just said, Afrid, is like avoidance and restrictive food intake disorder. And it's something where you kind of like, that you could fit it in because you just wouldn't eat as much the next day, but you kind of
just have it. It's like how many calories? Like, it's not that
whatever.
Big of I was acting like I was eating 2 burgers from Five Guys. Like it's fine.
I don't think I can even manage one of them bad boys from Five Guys.
Can you not?
Don't know. Maybe we should have a Five Guys challenge.
I would destroy you at it.
Yeah, I'm not sure you would. But no, I mean, I find that unsurprising, because in the fitness industry you do get a sense of people latching on to something that makes them feel like they've got control over something. So exercise addiction, someone coming in 2 or 3 times a day into the gym. Now I've seen that happen.
So have I.
And I'm sure where we work, I think that does happen from time to time as well, where people are investing an awful lot of time and emotion and resource into the gym, and it becomes something which is almost like, it's great to invest time, emotion and resource into the gym from a health and fitness physical and mental point of view, but then when it goes over and it tips into the exercise addiction, then that actually is, it's a behavioural response of a bigger issue of mental health, right? So that it's something else that's not that they're the hyper investment is a result in something else that's not quite going right in their life on an overarching way. So if you think about someone who has, I've had this on occasion before, where someone has reached a particular goal that we have set in place, and we've kind of moved nicely towards it, whether it be over the years I've been in the industry, there's been a couple of occasions, more probably earlier on when I had less experience and I was a little bit more, a little bit green in the industry and didn't really know what I was doing. I know what I'm doing now, so
I hope so.
so, you'd kind of validate what your client's doing, right? Yes, you're doing well. Yes, this is brilliant. Yeah, you're doing well. So someone who was, for example, losing weight at a good rate, you're happy with them, and you're congratulating, you're high-fiving success, and you're externally motivating that person and validating that person's behaviours of being strict, being on it, not drinking, choosing no, I won't be having that glass of wine. Conversely, you've got someone who's building muscle, who's hitting their calories, who's eating well, hitting their protein numbers, getting to the gym in the morning for a bit of cardio and training in the afternoon for resistance, however you set it up, and they're moving towards their goals. Both of these people on either end of these spectrums hit their goal, but when they hit that goal, they still don't feel happy. They've reached it, they've accomplished something, yet they're celebratory of that fact, but then there's almost like an anticlimax, like a dropping off, like, okay, what do I do now? Well, the thing is, once you've reached that goal, unless you've realigned and made sure everything is working well from an overarching mental health perspective,
Yep.
whatever training sessions you implement, whatever nutritional protocol you implement, and whatever goal you achieve through those two parts, fitness and nutrition, unless you actually found a sweet spot of happiness whilst doing that, you're still going to feel like, I haven't reached what I want to reach. And that's where I've seen people go down the rabbit hole of keep pushing and keep losing more and more weight, or training more and more and overtraining and getting injured, and then getting depressed because they got injured and they can't train. And it can go into a spiral unless all aspects of health are considered, and that's physical and overarching mental health as well, day-to-day mental health, work life, lifestyle, family life, relationships.
As an example then, would you say, let's say this person was trying to lose weight, they like to have a drink here and there. In order to achieve that weight, they stop drinking completely.
Mm-hmm.
They reach their goal, then they go, fuck, I really want to drink. But because they reach their goal without drinking, they feel it's not acceptable to drink anymore. Is that a fair example?
Yeah, I mean, like, I would say so, in a sense whereby when you it's like reach a goal whilst living a life and enjoying a life, and stay aligned with your like primary motivations. So
Yeah.
what you enjoy doing.
Yeah.
No, if you enjoy fitness, that's great. And if you want to achieve a certain goal that's going to, kind of improve your overall life and what you want to achieve and how you want to feel through fitness and nutrition, fine. But don't neglect other areas of your life and kind of like don't pay into them. Pay into the fitness, pay into the nutrition. That will help your mental health. That will help you achieve things, make you feel better, all the like the grand scheme things that you want to kind of work towards. But if you're not paying attention to family life, friends, socializing, integrating with people at work, hobbies,
Yeah.
let's say for example someone who worked for played or played some other sport, and then they stopped playing that sport because they felt like it was going to counteract what they were doing, as in the gym. If someone loved running, for example, they'd managed to get a place in the London Marathon, for example, but they'd also started on a physique goal where they wanted to build up their muscle and stuff, and then the two goals can be quite counteractive, obviously, from an energy demands and from a overtraining principles. Then it'd be like, well, okay, don't continue with this goal, realign what you want to do in order to make yourself overall happy. Your primary motivations, right? What you like in life and what you enjoy in life. Because although if you get into a situation whereby you've lost the plot on fitness, as in like it's the only thing that you do, then your overall well-being has the potential of suffering.
Damn.
We went deep there.
You hit the nail on the head with that one. I've got a theory.
Oh, here we go.
An unqualified.
I love a Ghazi theory.
An unqualified amateur theory.
Okay.
That's my disclaimer. So don't actually take it on board if you think it's wrong.
You watch the comment box now. What are you talking about?
I have thought about this. And I was going back to nature. Because I do think the way we're living today, it's added on. So it's more frequent now, these mental health issues.
Yeah.
I think it's because of the society we live in. So I was like, were we like this when we were living free and in the wild or whatever it was? I'm sure there was some, but
were you ever free and in the wild?
As humanity, not me. Maybe I was
running free, Ghazi, a baby Ghazi running free
Bush.
and wild around Shepherd's Bush.
And I thought, what's one of the fundamentals of a species? Okay, you got loads of little rules that species must abide by to stay alive.
Yep.
One of them is to be competitive. From birth, you are competitive. You might be fighting for that breast milk. That's competitive. And I'm not mean in the way of playing for money or whatever. Just being competitive, not as a baby. I'm talking about.
I think that's more like survival.
Yes,
you're
but
competing to survive.
In order to survive, it brings out competitiveness in you. We have to, otherwise you're gonna die.
Sure.
Okay.
I mean, that theory I think is pretty the runt of the litter
now,
theory, right?
I want to apply that to people today. I want everyone to think about: is there something you do regularly that you enjoy that involves competing? Now, I'm not saying it has to be like hardcore. It could just be with friends. You now thinking about it now, Will, does that exist for you?
For me, competition in my life.
Yes.
Absolutely.
What would it be?
What did you think I was going to say something?
I don't know.
I wanted to say something.
I want a genuine answer.
A genuine answer.
Yeah.
Competition. Where do you think competition happens for anyone? It's like competition in society, competition for attention.
Okay, that's bad. We're talking about
intrinsic competition.
Yeah.
So like, I want to get better at something, but you're competing with friends.
Yeah.
Or golf.
Perfect.
You know I play golf.
Not a sport, by the way. Just saying.
If you haven't watched the esports, go back, watch the esports, and please note how well I've done not to punch him in the face at this point. Continue.
So, when you do play golf and you finish,
yeah,
how does that make you feel?
Thirsty. I normally have a beer.
In your mind, rather than
there's a sense of accomplishment.
Now, I want everyone at home, not at home, wherever you're listening. It doesn't have to be at home. On your way to work, in the car, on the bike, whatever it is, on the bus, on your private jet.
Tyson.
Do you do something in life equivalent to something like Will playing golf, or me gaming, or me playing football? Is that piece missing from your life? I think that is my theory to helping you with your mental health.
You see, I've definitely got a theory as well.
Okay.
And I don't disagree that you have made an absolute valid point with regards to how like healthy competition is actually very...
It builds one's character.
It does build one's character, and I completely agree with you. I think the reason why we have problems with mental health is a lagging effect of the system of capitalism.
Which takes away the fun, competitive side of life.
It becomes more about
Money. That's all it
and
becomes about.
before because this could really drill deep.
This can go deeper
We could be in
we've ever gone
all
before.
sorts of trouble. But essentially, and I have been thinking about this. I actually guested on a podcast last night, which we went a little bit into detail. We didn't drill deep, not like we do, but
No one drills deep like we do.
but we did actually speak very honestly and authentically around different elements of Alzheimer's death and mental fitness, mental health rather. So one of the things that came up actually was the idea of capitalism and how, although it's fantastic and it allows people to progress, invest in their own kind of like success and how they want to achieve, and it allows people to earn money and create the life, or in theory create the life they want to do. Again, going back to the fact that there's always a yin and a yang to any given situation, you find that there is a lot of fear in society. There's a lot of anxiety in society. There's a lot of, do I match up to the person next to me from a competitive point of view, or am I where I'm meant to be in my life? As in, I don't have a girlfriend. I don't have a wife. I don't have any children, a house, a car. Where am I at in my career? Is it where I should be? And instead of people people never really, people go through this checklist and they're like, they tick and they look and they go, have you got this, have you got that? But they very rarely ask the question, are you actually happy?
Yes.
Are you actually in a place where you can sit there in a mindful way and go, I'm pretty good with where I am? And like to the point earlier, you don't always walk through a field of daisies. You don't always skip through an orchard and pick a lovely juicy apple. That's not what life's about all the time. But the way in which society is shaped up is like, am I fashion? Am I wearing the right clothes? It might be a case of, do I drive the right car, or do I live in the right house? And these things are very materialistic, but inevitably they make people in divisions. I've achieved this, I've achieved that, I haven't achieved that. And I think that unless you have the mental strength to break away from that situation whereby you are able to dissociate from that competitive element of where am I, what should I buy, where should I be, and stuff like that, you will find yourself in a position of starting to become fearful. Your self-esteem could start to be hurt effectively, or become a little bit,
you're beating yourself up,
exactly. And that's part of being able to when you think about the hierarchy of needs, you want to be heard, you want to be there's Grace LeConte. I've got him up here because I sometimes I need to like reference things and get it right, so
and you're quick on the button.
It's something I was so it's important. But a lot of people kind of like have different needs, different, they want to be seen as part of a group, and that means confirmation, and confirmation means you need to have this kind of setup, and if you're in that kind of setup, then you're kind of like in the group type thing.
You're on the right path.
Yeah,
so to speak.
and I think that the thing is that people that want to make money can put themselves in a position where they can, someone who has fear, anxiety, and then they're presented with a way or something or materialistic whereby they can actually solve that fear and anxiety. They go and they try and grab it with both hands, and they pay out of the nose for it. They do whatever, and then they get it, and then they go, actually, this isn't what I thought I'd feel like after I've purchased this car or got this new house, or in a relationship and you get married because you think if you get married
and have babies,
it will make me feel better, and Sometimes it's about, well, stop and reconnect with, again, your primary motivations. What genuinely makes you happy in life? Forget all the rest of it. Forget all about, the materialistic things, sociologically, where people have told you should be at any given part of your life. Are you doing the things that really sets your soul on fire, that you really love and that you really want to do? Because if you're not, it doesn't matter, all the secondary things that you chase after
will never be enough.
They will never be enough.
Never.
And you will always have this kind of like, doubt, fear, anxiety, lack of being accepted, your ego's being hurt, or if you're fearful for your ego being hurt. And ego's a great thing and also a terrible thing as well.
This is exactly where my theory fits perfectly, Will. Because when you compete with people, let's say for golf, you essentially lay your ego down on the line, because you're saying, I'm betting my ego against yours. Whoever wins gets the bragging rights. You get used to that. You go, you know what? Sometimes my ego is going to take a hit, and you learn how to deal with it.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. That's definitely a perspective.
I'm liking this.
Like
it's
being in a position where you can effectively manage. But I mean, that's outcome orientated, right? So like you the win. But then if you've played well and you've achieved and you've had moments of glory and also moments of loss, then you learn to balance that out, right? And I think that that's something which the balance and the equilibrium, because of course you want to go on a nice holiday, you want to go and have a nice suit or whatever, you want to spend money in a capitalist environment or capitalist society, because you have the opportunity to do that, right? Which is what you do. But then there's that kind of balance and moderation.
Yeah.
And that's where I think, so you want a bit of ego competition. It's good for you. It makes you feel good.
Have you ever faced someone at something and you were like miles better?
All
and
the
it
time.
Just okay.
That's my ego. That's my ego. That was silly, wasn't it?
But
all the time, yeah. I'm miles better, everyone at everything.
Okay, let's say, I don't know.
I'm joking.
Whatever
I'm
it was,
joking.
whatever it is, and you're just clearly better than them, and you're not doing it in a way where you're teaching them. It was a genuine competition between the two.
Yeah.
It becomes really dull and boring. It's like your soul doesn't want that. Your soul wants to be challenged. This is my theory is going to. Please, guys, try this out. Find something you love to do, whether it's a sport, whether it's whatever, and find a way to play with your friends or join a team.
But
tell me how it makes you feel.
So if you don't win, or you're not successful, then you need to look at becoming better at it and raising your intrinsic motivation. So
the grind begins.
Extrinsic motivation, that is where you lie with regards to your outcome. You win, you feel good, you get the trophy. Intrinsic motivation, which is about mastering a skill.
Yes.
Which is about building competency. So I'm better than I was last time. I'm
dealing with the losses along the way.
Yeah.
That is the secret. That's my theory. That right there is the secret.
And that can also, bringing it back to the fitness industry and fitness as a way of doing that, people can use that in a really positive way. So if two guys or two girls or a guy and a girl start training, they want to push each other. There's a bit of that competition. There's that little kind of, well, I was lifting this, or I can complete this WOD in this time, or, I can lift that now, or even to a certain degree, if it's in a healthy way, aesthetic goals, that can be, and you can have that kind of supportive yet competitive environment, which helps people and makes people feel certain levels of accomplishment or increasing their competency around exercises they couldn't do.
When people are saying they prefer to work out with a partner, that's essentially why. They don't know it, but that is why.
I do like working out and training, or I do like training with someone else. But I also really value the individual time training on my own and the peacefulness that I have when I train on my own and put on some music, and I just can wander around and
let your mind wander too.
To a certain degree. I find that very cathartic. So I can see it from both sides of the coin. Again, you know, it's like a balanced approach, isn't it? You know, sometimes it's good to like spend a bit of time on your own and be reflective, and other times it's good to be in a competitive environment or be in an environment with, you know, socially speaking. Yeah, I think it's very interesting how the fitness industry can be such a strong facilitator of positive mental health, and how it can really kind of allow people to flourish and grow and interact and become
a beautiful flower,
a better version of themselves, if that's something that if that's the route that they want to go down. But also
beware of the minds.
Beware of the mind, and beware of the, what did you say, the tripwires? What did you say last time? Traps, that's it. Beware of the traps and the mines, and avoid the darker side of fitness
as much as you can. And that is essentially where we're going to wrap it up.
I think so, yeah.
I hope everyone is doing mentally well that is listening.
Absolutely.
And do try out my theory. If you feel like you want to prove me right, please do. Is there anything else you wanted to say, Will?
I mean, like, just from a mental health perspective, I think it's very important. Like, it's good to talk about these things, but it's also very important to have some sort of tangible, as we were speaking about with the cancer research obesity campaign. You know.
Yeah.
So I think it's very important. Like, I've gone through and you know, as you spoke about, times of mental struggle, and I think it's very important that there is people that you can talk to, you know, through the NHS, obviously, through and we can put some links in the description below this on YouTube as well. You know, there's some really good places to go, but also don't feel like, you know, reach out to anyone. Reach out to, if you feel like you need to reach out, I'm here, and I have people that come and obviously, you know, reach out to me as well. So if anyone's listening to this and there's that kind of like, actually I resonate a little bit and I could do with having a chat with someone,
slide into our DMs.
Please reach out. Ghazi, come on, mate.
Oh, sorry.
I do apologise, guys. But in all seriousness, feel free to give us a shout.
Yes, 100%.
Where can we find you, Ghazi?
My DMs?
Yeah.
Ghazi.92.
And I'm Will Hawkins Coaching. And literally, guys, it's very important. It should be focused on any given day or any given week. Mental health is every day of every week of people's lives. So it's a very important topic to speak about and reduce those kind of barriers of, you know, helping people and supporting people. So excellent.
Stay healthy, guys.
And until the next time we drill deep.
Say that again, please, because that was awful.
Until the next time we drill deep. Hi, I'm Will.
And I'm Ghazi.
And thanks for tuning in to The Big Drill. You can also find us on these platforms here. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can find him on Insta.
Ghazi.92.
And me, Will Hawkins Coaching. The links are in the description. And until the next time we drill deep, goodbye.
Bye.